Mark and Sarah were newlyweds who had just purchased a charming Victorian home in the countryside. They were thrilled with its classic architecture, large garden, and spacious rooms. While unpacking, they noticed something peculiar in the library, a bookshelf that seemed slightly out of place. Curiosity got the better of them, and Mark pushed the bookshelf aside, revealing a hidden door. It was small, unpainted, and locked with a rusty latch that broke easily. The room behind the door was suffocatingly small, with walls covered in strange symbols. In the center stood a single chair, old and splintered, as if waiting for someone. Sarah felt an immediate chill but dismissed it as nerves. Mark, however, joked about finding a secret study and suggested they could use it for storage. That night, Sarah had a vivid nightmare of someone sitting in the chair, their face obscured by shadows. She woke up trembling, only to find Mark staring blankly at the ceiling. When she asked if he was okay, he simply muttered, "It's waiting." The next day, Sarah noticed a faint, sour smell coming from the hidden room. Mark, acting oddly nonchalant, insisted it was mold and planned to clean it out. But every time they tried to enter, the air felt heavier, almost unbearable. Mark's behavior grew more erratic. He would spend hours staring at the hidden door, whispering under his breath. Sarah called a local historian, who revealed the house had a dark past. The previous owner had been a recluse who claimed the room was a gateway to another realm. His disappearance decades ago remained a mystery, though neighbors reported hearing screams before the house was abandoned. One evening, Sarah woke to find Mark missing. She searched the house, her heart pounding, until she heard a low chant coming from the hidden room. Terrified, she flung the door open to find Mark sitting in the chair, the symbols on the walls glowing faintly. He turned to her with eyes that weren't his, and a voice that wasn't his own said, "You've brought me back." Sarah fled the house and never returned. She later learned the property was condemned after multiple unexplained incidents. Mark was a single father who had just moved into an old colonial home with his son, Noah. The house was a fresh start for them, a quiet escape from the chaos of city life. From the first night, Noah complained about whispers coming from the walls of his bedroom. "They sound like they're calling me, Dad," he said, clutching his blanket. Mark dismissed it as a child's imagination, but he couldn't deny the uneasy feeling the house gave him. Over the next few days, the whispers grew louder, especially at night. Mark started hearing them too, faint and incomprehensible, like voices carried by the wind. One night, he heard a distinct laugh, soft but chilling, and froze in his bed. "Noah," he called out, but the boy was fast asleep. The whispers weren't the only unsettling thing. Noah began talking to someone invisible, pointing to the walls and laughing. When Mark asked him who he was talking to, he replied, "The children who live here." His blood ran cold. Determined to uncover the truth, Mark researched the house's history. He discovered it had been an orphanage over a century ago. A fire had killed many children, and their remains were never recovered. The locals believed the spirits of the children lingered, trapped within the walls. One evening, Mark found Noah sitting in the corner of his room, whispering to the wall. "What are you doing?" he asked, trying to hide his fear. "They said they want to play with me forever," Noah replied with a vacant stare. Terrified, Mark packed their belongings and left that night. The house now sits abandoned, its walls silent but heavy with untold secrets. Mark and Clara were thrilled to move into their dream home in a quiet suburb. The house had everything they wanted, large windows, a spacious garden, and a peaceful neighborhood. But from the moment they moved in, Clara felt like they were being watched. "It's just your imagination," Mark reassured her, though he admitted the feeling was unsettling. One night, Clara was home alone when she noticed the living room window fogging up from the outside. She wiped the glass, but as soon as she stepped back, a handprint appeared. Panicked, she locked all the doors and waited for Mark to return. The next day, They installed security cameras around the house. The footage from the first night showed nothing unusual. But the second night revealed a shadowy figure standing motionless in their garden, staring at their bedroom window. When Mark checked the garden the next morning, he found no footprints, even though the ground was muddy. The figure became a nightly visitor, appearing in different places around the house. Sometimes it would stand by the back door, other times, it was outside the bathroom window. Clara started having nightmares of the figure standing over her bed, its face hidden in darkness. Desperate for help, they contacted a paranormal investigator. He explained that the house had a history of people disappearing without a trace. The original owner, an eccentric painter, was said to have captured the souls of his victims in his artwork. One night, the figure appeared inside the house, standing at the foot of their bed. Mark swung a baseball bat at it, but it vanished, leaving behind a chilling laugh. The couple fled the house that night, abandoning their dream home forever. The house still stands, its windows reflecting shadows that don't belong. Moral: some houses carry the weight of their past, and not all stories are meant to be uncovered. Trust your instincts, what feels wrong often is.